Throughout the past 18 months, Surge have had hidden cameras placed in dairy farms around the UK. What we have documented has shocked us. The dairy industry is painted as a wholesome industry, where the animals are treated with care and compassion. Grazing dairy cows and adverts perpetuating these ideas reinforce the notion that animals don't suffer for dairy products. However, the footage that we have acquired tells a very different story to the one the industry tells us. Animals being systematically exploited and abused. Farmers showing contempt towards the animals, violently beating them and showing a complete disregard for their life. What you're about to see is objective. It is the reality, and it is the truth. Cows are mammals, which means they only produce milk to feed their children. Consequently, dairy cows are forcibly impregnated every year to ensure they're continuously producing milk that the farmer can sell for a profit. This is done by a farmer or a vet restraining the cow and forcing his arm inside the anus of the cow, holding her cervix through the lining of the anus, and then forcing a syringe through the cow's vagina and injecting bull semen inside her cervix. When the cow gives birth, her baby is taken away from her almost immediately. Mother cows form close relationships with their children, with natural herds being both matriarchal and familial. Consequently, the separation of the calf from their mother causes them both huge amounts of suffering and distress. We documented farmers dragging, kicking, and throwing newborn calves. On this farm, the calves are tossed into the front loader of a tractor, unable to stand. Their mothers desperately try and help them. On dairy farms, calves are separated from their mothers and have no opportunity to feel maternal love or even to feed naturally. On this farm, the calves are instead pinned down and force-fed formula by the farmer. Calves that don't willingly accept the force feeding are slapped and thrown around like they are worthless. They are only babies. This farmer is tagging the ear of this calf, who has only just been born. A separated calf calls out to their mother. Male calves are of no use to the dairy industry. So every year in the UK, around 90,000 male dairy calves are shot and discarded soon after birth, simply because they are not deemed profitable enough by the farmers. The other males will either be sold on and raised for beef, or they'll be killed for veal. The female calves are normally placed in solitary confinement pens, where they can legally be kept for up to 8 weeks. The mother cows are then milked by being herded into the milking parlours. This can happen up to 3 times a day. Cows who do not willingly walk to be milked are beaten, punched, and abused until they comply with the farmers. This abuse was documented at every dairy farm that we visited. Death can be found everywhere on dairy farms, with dairy calves left to rot on the ground. Mother cows who are seen as no longer being useful to the farmer are also often shot on the farm. Sometimes being left to decompose. Swearing, shouting, and verbal abuse was also documented as being commonplace across the dairy farms that we investigated. Cows are sensitive animals who form close bonds and are easily scared. What we see in this footage does not represent isolated cases or bad apples. This footage represents the systematic and ubiquitous nature of the violence that takes place in animal farms. Even those actions that are legally condoned still cause suffering. Dairy products come from violence, but we have the power to make it stop. Please, leave dairy off your plate. Together, we can make the violence end. Thank you for watching.